Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 7 VR-submitted levels, so in this part, I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more VR-submitted levels, starting out with this one, Ringman Hard Mode by the OfficialMemeGuy, with 9 plays and a score of -2. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a future part like this one, please leave both the level name and level ID either in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts, so if you want to check if your level is covered, expand the description. As the author informed me, this is going to be a hard mode version of Ringman stage. And I can already see one difference. There's a lot more wall blasters here. Thankfully, the Tama is a lot easier to defeat in comparison with the Hippo mini-boss. We still have the Big Whopper mini-boss though. Good checkpoint placement. In fact, I'll use it right now. I'll save this key for later. So I'm just gonna ignore that mini-boss entirely. You know, outside of that last 2 sets of screens, this stage wasn't that bad. Sure, it was harder, but it wasn't as hard and difficult as I expected it to be. I expected there to be a lot more enemies and a lot more death spikes. This was relatively restrained for a hard mode stage. This is certainly different though because we have a lower ceiling. And Ringman deals more damage in comparison to Mega Man 4. His weakness is probably the fair shot. Nope, he's immune against it. Wonderful. Flash Stopper? Nope. Guess I have to do it the classic way, Buster only. And there we have it. That was Ringman Stage Hard Mode. I would have preferred if there was more changes to the stage's layout because most of it was the same, outside of some more enemies in comparison to the original stage. Sure, there were some different screens like the last 2 or 3 screens, but overall it was mostly the same. I wouldn't rate this with a negative score though, it doesn't deserve a negative score. Second level on the lineup is SAN-001 Deep Man by Jethawk74, with 19 plays and a score 3. SAN stands for Dr. Sachil Assassin Number, so think of this as the Doc Robot stages and Jethawk74's series of Roadmaster stages. And as usual, we start with a whole slew of special weapons, and the chance to play as Proto Man, which I will do here. How was I able to make it up here without actually using any of the proto-jets? I'm not sure. So far so good, nothing too difficult. Also good checkpoint placement. I'm gonna take a risk and go forward without doing a quick reset. Whoops. Well, I made it this time. Very luckily. Just keep sliding and I'll make it. On second thoughts, I'll just use the rush jet here. Better safe than sorry. Another good checkpoint placement, putting it after the mini-boss room. Let's see what's over to the right. A room which heavily incentivizes hard knuckle usage, or at least a room where it works pretty well. I wonder if this is a shortcut or this is just for the M tank and it warps back to that point. It seems to be an alternate route. Yeah, it was an alternate route, so I'm gonna do a quick reset over here and check out the lower pathway. Just one long corridor over there, filled with enemies, mostly Peter Cheese and those pop-up cannons. And here's where the two pathways loop up with each other. And now we have red force beams, oh boy. I just need to run to the right here in order to survive. Or damage boost, that works too. Will I make it? Yes, I will. And there we have it, that was the end of Deep Man. It was an okay stage. It definitely felt like a Fortress or a Dock Robot stage. A bit hard in general in comparison to the previous social contract worker levels by Jedok that I played through. And now we fight Fairman. Wow, I didn't realize the Pharaoh Wave deals that much damage, or rather I forgot how much damage it dealt. So let's try this again. Checkpoint placement was nice, and the variety of challenges was also nice as well. Though as I said, it was an okay stage. Third level on the lineup is Air and Magnets version 2 by Panda35, with 8 plays and a score of -1. I recall playing this stage several dozen parts ago, and it was also an okay stage. It was a special weapons oriented stage, plus it had a sort of a weapon relay system where you could collect new special weapons as long as you had the previous one in the chain. Well, okay then. That was a poor effort on my part. Again, another poor effort. I started with nothing, of course. I need to be careful with those mag flies running around, especially with these magnets nearby. And there's our first special weapon. In the original stage, this was also mandatory to get, but the rest were optional. The intro segment of the stage was certainly changed, but this one was the same. Mostly the same, I think. This one's a bit different because now we have gyres. Oh, this room was a pain originally. But to make it easier, we now have that yokel block over there. Originally there wasn't a yokel block over there, so it took a lot of failures to get across that gap. At least a dozen. And you can still make the slide jump if you're skilled enough, but if you want to play it safe, just wait for that yokel block to appear. And of course, I should have remembered that fan fiend would be there. Just like in the original stage, I expect to die at least 1 or 2 dozen times. And this room is definitely different. I don't recall it being in the original stage. We now have gyres, for example. %40 of the stage has been changed, maybe 30% if I want to be less generous. And now we have an alternate route split. I think going down here leads to a special weapon. Yeah, it does. And this leads back over here. Just like in the original, in fact it's the same room structure. And let's wait for that enemy to respawn. Or reset the stage, that works too. Oh, I remember this part. I remember dying a few times here as well. If you don't have access to Hyper Bomb, it's a lot more difficult, but if you do, well, you can just make it a lot easier on yourself. Wasn't fast enough with sliding and I don't know what happened there. The plus explosion pattern makes this a cinch. And I forgot about that area down over there. Whoops. That leads to an extra collectible. In the previous stage, it was an extra special weapon. And I do want to go for it, so let's do it. Well, that sucked. I thought I was timing it correctly, but apparently not. As I said, I expect to die 2 dozen times throughout this level. This is how we're actually meant to do it. That's the way back. And in order to collect this skull beer, I need to have access to the 3 previous special weapons in a chain. And I believe this is where the 2 pathways link up with each other. Yeah, it does. Good checkpoint placement, thank you for the full refill. And having access to the skull beer makes this segment a whole lot easier too. In comparison with the original stage, that previous room, the one before the last one, that was much more difficult. The room filled with the gyres, aka the last one, that didn't exist in the original version. And if I have access to all the 4 previous special weapons, I'll gain access to the boss's weakness, hence the wind text up above. Overall, I'd say that this stage was an improvement over the first version. The difficulty curve is much better, the MagFly riding is better introduced, and the challenges had a better curving. Oh sure, some of the rooms, especially with the gyres, were much more difficult, but overall, it didn't feel like there was any difficulty spikes. 4th level on the lineup is Slippery Climb by Hydrochlorination, with 12 plays and a score of 1. And this seems like it's going to be a shorter stage, around 20 screens long. So we're going to be traveling through this ice over facility. Sadly, we do not have access to sliding. Oh gosh, that jump. That'll cause some problems. I always have problems with these tap jumps. I either overshoot them or undershoot them. Especially in this engine. That's why I really wish I had access to sliding so I could do slide jumps. Phew, I made it after 8 failed attempts off screen. This is easily going to be the hardest part of the stage, I believe. You probably should have put a checkpoint at the left side of this door. No checkpoints yet. You really should put one nearby. Another place where I wish I had slide jumping. Thank you for the checkpoint, but there should have been one at the base of this segment, especially considering how difficult the previous segment was. That one jump was much more difficult than the entirety of the first segment, and this segment as well. Someone made that jump. And let's get the third key and see where this teleporter leads us to. A checkpoint, thank you. I guess the teleporter on this right side of the segment will lead me to the E-tank. Or another key. And this leads us to the E-tank. And okay, that's just a sign that there's an E-tank right over here. And that was my bad. Well, at least there's a checkpoint right over here, so not much of a loss. And another failure on my part. Even with all of these deaths, this is still much easier than that one spike jump over there. Okay, somehow I didn't bounce on top of that one. Probably too far to the edge there. Wasn't fast enough there either. There we go. And I made it to the end, where there's a checkpoint. Overall, the stage difficulty outside that one spike jump was pretty decent. Although I'd say to put one checkpoint just at the start of that left corridor, right after that first section. Will Fairman fall into a bottomless pit? Probably not. Instead, I fall into it because of ice physics. Well, at least there's a full refill here, so I will always have full Mega Buster energy. So that was the end of Slippery Climb, a somewhat difficult special weapons oriented stage. Difficulty progression and checkpoint placement was almost nice, just one more checkpoint would do, and outside of that one jump, I'd say there was no difficulty spikes. So I guess I will give it a thumbs up, although I'd probably give it a 5 or 5.5 out of 10. Fifth and final level of the part is Water Tower version 7 updated by MAGMAX, with 13 plays and a score of 2. Yep, MAGMAX is back, and they're revamping the stages that were broken by the latest Mega Man Maker updates. So version 7 of Water Tower takes place first in a desert, and we need to go through these spikes using the shine. And we have to do it twice here. Oh boy. Will I be able to make it? Surprisingly enough, yes. Same over here, I'm not sure how. Okay, now we get access to Charge Kick. Somehow I didn't die over there either. Yet I died over here because that brain break walked a little bit too much to the left. Ah, Pixel Precision, my enemy in Mega Man Maker. Thankfully I can chain together these abilities. In fact, I think damage boosting will be my friend here. Or this works as well, I suppose. Thanks again for the checkpoint. That way I can save up on the Wind Tornado energy. Made it here. I'll do a quick reset to refill some of my other weapons. Probably want to be full on Topspin energy just in case. Now I get access to item 2 here. At least this is different from the conventional Water Tower stages where you use the auto slider to climb upwards. Wow, that was an epic fail on my part. I should have held right there. And I hit the jump button there, but of course, it wasn't accepted. Okay, this time it worked. I'm not risking it, I'm just using the NATO. Well, okay then. Is there something down over there? Nope, just a bottomless pit. I think we're getting near the end though. I'm not sure what's happening there. I'm pressing the jump button at the right time, but it's not being registered. Okay, now it worked. Another good checkpoint placement. Just use NATO to skip this challenge. And here we fight Top Man. Well, this is the easy way to fight Top Man. Just spray and pray. In comparison with the previous water tower stages, I do like the variety here where we're using different special weapons, instead of the usual climbing up the oil tower using the oil slider. And I did like how multiple special weapons had their time to shine, although some more than others and some were redundant. It's a nice little special weapons oriented stage. So overall, out of the 5 levels I played in this part, my favorite level would be Deep Man by Jedox74. So in the next part, I'll be covering a longer Veers level. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!